it's Rose. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new, if you are coming over from the event, the hashtag How to Botanical collaboration that is being hosted by the ever fabulous RachandBella Crafts. So today I am doing my video for that collaboration, and as you can see we are going to be talking all things Edith Holden. I have quite a collection of Edith Holden books. I'm very lucky in that regard. My darling other half a couple of years ago heard me talking about this Edith Holden person, and he went on a bint trying to get as many copies as he could for me for Christmas and birthdays and things like that. So I have quite a few copies. These aren't all the copies that I have, so you know, I do realise how lucky I am. So we have lots of different types of Edith Holden books, and that's why I have these ones out here. So we have ranging from the smaller ones to the really larger ones and all that. So I'm just going to gather these up and we'll go through one or two of them. Now I will be making one or two little makes throughout the video, but what I really wanted to do was to take away the fear of using Edith Holden pages, because I know myself that I hoard these books. Because it's not that I'm afraid to use them, I don't want to ruin the prettiness and the, you know, the fabulousness of them. But we are going to bust that today. We're going to get through and we're going to start using it. Okay, so first of all, let's go through a few of the different types of books. Now, I don't know the history and the background of the types of books at all. I just know that there are different ones. This is the Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady, so it has all of the full page pictures and journal entries and poetry and things like that from Edith Holden herself. I'm not sure that all of the journal entries are in these, but I think they might be. So here we have a full page of journal entries and things like that. And as you can see, I have started using this book. It is one of my favourite of the ones that I have. Now I'm just going to scoot you guys in a little closer so that we get a good look. And I will change the camera every now and again for the larger books and things like that as well. So I'm just going to put these over here out of the way for now. Okay. So that's this one. It is a smaller size. There is the same version of this in a slightly larger size that I will show you there shortly. And as you can see, all of the Edith Holden have these beautiful heavy cream pages, okay? But the tones change from book to book. And even I have two copies of the very same edition published in the same year and all the rest of that. And the colour tones on the pages are slightly different. So there is that to kind of keep an eye out for. And as I said, we have the full pages here of full page images. We have the diary entries, and there are also smaller images in here too. Okay, so absolutely stunning, stunning, stunning books. This is one of my favourite images in the books, and I'll be working with the larger version of that later, or I'll be showing you something that I've done with the larger version of that later. Here you can see these little moss cups down here. I was making a woodland journal or an autumn journal, and I just punched one of those out with my hole punch or circle punch. So yeah, they're very, very pretty, very sweet, and they're actually very unusual images in that I actually looked for pictures of moss and moss cups like this for a kit I was putting together, my what is it? Woodland Wanderings. My apologies. My Woodland Wanderings kit. I was looking for images like this, and they were very, very hard to get, very few and far between. So they're unusual images, and I love them. Very, very cute. So yeah, as you can see, beautiful, beautiful books. Now I am assuming that we are all familiar with Edith Holden. If you are not familiar with Edith Holden, she was a lady, and this diary was from the year 1905, so she would have been around kind of late 1800s, early 1900s, and she loved to sketch and draw the nature that was around her, in the garden, in the countryside, things like that. So, and her granddaughter since found the images in her diary and has licensed them to people to print and things like that. These are all in copyright. They cannot be photocopied. They cannot be sold as digitals or anything like that. If you want to use Edith Holden images, you do need to get the books. They can be expensive, but sometimes you can find them in charity shops and things like that, and I've seen people getting them for £1. I've seen other people paying 15 for them. I don't know how much my other half paid for these, and I don't want to know. I would probably be aghast at using them if I knew how much he paid for them, but then he might have gotten them very cheap. I don't know. So that is that. That is the first one. I absolutely love this edition. I love the fact that it has all of Edith Holden's writings in it, and she did write poetry and things in her journals as well. So all very, very good stuff. And actually, as I'm going through, I'm just going to kind of look at the different ways to use the pages maybe in each book. Okay, so for something like this is a pretty page, but not terribly interesting to me at the moment for the kind of journals I'd be working with at the moment. This page, however, would be fabulous with the little periwinkle flowers and things like that. Very spring looking page. I would actually just maybe fold this and put it in as an insert, or you could cut out fussy cut the little flowers. I have fussy cut some images here, and I will talk to you about those in a moment. You could make an envelope from this. It would actually make quite a nice envelope. That would be coming that way, and you'd have this on the flap. Would be a lovely envelope. So, and that is one of my favorite things to do with these pages, is to make envelopes with them. I think they're extremely pretty. So the other thing is little fussy cuts like this. This would make a lovely focal piece on a journaling card or a tag, or even on the front of a cover, to be honest. So these full pages again make lovely, lovely envelopes. Some of them make great tags if the images are positioned correctly. That would make a beautiful tag just by itself. Or you could bring it over and have the bird as well. You know, all these little things that we take into account. This would make a fantastic little border if you didn't want to use the writing. Now, as I said, the writing in this particular book is quite nice, and I would use every scrap of this writing anyway. So nothing will ever go to waste. This would make a great pocket. This piece here. Absolutely beautiful. Or a journaling card, actually. That would make a great journaling card. And we're not losing an image on the back. That's one of the things that we find difficult with the Edith Holden books, is when they have images on the front and the back of the page, it can be difficult to decide which one to use. Oh no! And I actually only have one copy of this book in this size and this format. So yeah, I do kind of hesitate sometimes as to which side of the page to use. This is ideal because you've got the full image here and writing on the back. That's a no-brainer. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning birds. Again, that would make a fabulous journaling card, and that would make a fabulous pocket. So when you're looking at the pages, look at how they can be divided as well. Some of them really don't lend themselves to being divided. You could actually divide this quite nicely to make two tags, or even belly bands. So that is that image. There's another beautiful pocket piece there, look. Or it could be a wide flip, or oh, lots and lots of different things. And over the page flip actually would be lovely with this. What's on the back? Yeah, that would make a great over the page flip. So that is that edition, and that is the type of stuff that you will get in that one. Now, then we have these ones. Now, this is a French edition, and I think this is the Book of Days. This particular format of the books, it's called several different names, and I'm just going to go and have a quick look and check just so I can tell you. Okay, so we have the Book of Days, and we have the yearbook, and then we have this one. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. It's in French, and I have a few copies of this in French. But the insides of them are, as far as I can tell, exactly the same, apart from in the French one, obviously, the writing is French. Okay, so with these ones, you do get some full page images, not as many as the other ones, and it doesn't have that lovely writing that we saw in the other one like this. But it has these diary pages. Now, these do make fantastic, fantastic pages in your journals, and actually the other ones would as well. I never thought to say that about the other ones. You can use them as pages in your journals as well. If you wanted to use these ones, because they are perfect bound. It isn't sewn into the binding. If you wanted to use this as a double page spread, let's say, you would have to hinge the 2 pages together. Or you could turn it sideways and just have it as a short page. That would work also. Another good way to use those, actually, if you're using them as short pages, if you get a page with an image and writing on the back, if you get 2 of those pages with images and writing on the back, stick them back to back, just sticking the edges, and make short pocket pages with them. That would be an awesome way to use them as well. Okay, so as I was saying, in these ones you do get some full page images. You get some really nice small images like this for fussy cutting, just for embellishing pieces and things like that. There's some more of that. And what I like about this one, especially in the French one, it gives you pages that say spring, summer, autumn, winter, and I love the fact that I have that in French, so I would use those titles as well. Amazing. So yeah, even if you do get one of the ones that doesn't have all the nice writing and all the rest of that, you can still use the images from them, and they are still very beautiful. You still get that heavy, beautiful cream paper or yellow paper for the background, and it is gorgeous, gorgeous paper. It really doesn't need backing onto anything. Even for tags, I think it makes a nice nice weight for a tag. Okay, so that is that one. Just give you a little flip through there, and the images in here, they can be birds, butterflies, plants, any kind of thing that took her interest, which is really cool. You get a nice little selection. Okay, so that's that format. Now this one is the Nature Notes of an Edwardian Lady, and it is, as far as I can tell, slightly different to the Country Diary. As in the images and things are different. Now this one has beautiful full page images, and it does have some of that pretty writing, but it does also have just a regular type, a regular font. I'm going to pull the camera out a little because this is a slightly bigger book. Okay, so when I first started using this book, and I have started using it, I thought that the pages were bound similar to the other one, where they were just glued in, perfect bound, glued in, not sewn, but they are actually sewn. So these can be taken out and used as a double page spread. As you can see, I have a loose one there. So they can be taken out and used as a double page spread, and the way to do that with any kind of sewn binding is to just snip these threads, okay, and they will pull out and you will be able to bind them. So they make absolutely stunning pages in your journals, but we can also still with these use them to make envelopes, tags, pockets, all the rest of that. This would make stunning tags. That piece there and that piece there, and they can be decorated and embellished and all the rest of that. Or a flip up in, because you have this nice piece at the top, you could use it as a flip. So it's basically, it's a matter of figuring out the best way to use the images, and whether to cut them or fold them, and different images lend themselves to different things. Okay, so with this one you have your regular text pages as well. I would use these as the base for tags and things like that. If you can just collage over it, add a few stamps, maybe a focal image, things like that, and they would be great. So and again, it is also personal preference, you know. Here we have a beautiful bird and a stoat, and I love stoats. It is a small image, and on the back we have 3 other birds. So you kind of have to make a call as to what you want to do with these. I would definitely want to fussy cut him, so I would lose the stoat. I might actually be able to get all of them out. But that is a page I would definitely use as a fussy cut page. Here we have some poetry. Again, this could be just put in as a journal page, and it would be absolutely beautiful as a journal page. I'm not sure what's on the other side of this one. Oh, it's actually the middle of the page, or the middle of the signature. So yeah, that would make a great journaling page, you know. That would be what would go into your signature. So you'd have your images on one leaf, and then on the back you would have your poetry. And obviously you could embellish all these pages. You could put a side tuck down here, and when you pull in and out the piece that goes into the tuck, you get to read the poetry. And you could also stencil on these pieces down here. Lots and lots and lots that you can do with these. Okay, so that is that one. Beautiful end papers on this as well. Absolutely gorgeous. So that's that one. Okay, so another iteration, another type, another format is these ones. Garden notes. There are a few different ones of these. There are garden notes, nature notes. I actually have cookery notes as well. And I think there are a few other different ones also. So what you get with this one is, let's for example look for the front of March. Okay, so you get a full page image at the start of the month, and then as you get into the month you get your diary page as such, a little diary entry from Edith up at the top of the page. You have your 4 images in the corners of the page, and then I'm not sure who wrote these pieces. A guy called Richard Gorer uses Edith Holden's records as his inspiration, giving advice on gardens in this particular instance. Okay, so these are just typewritten pages, but on the backs of them all you have these diary pages. So what I have done here with some of these pages, that's where I got these fussy cuts from. These were all on the corners of the pages, and I have fussy cut those out, and I will use them in various different ways. So I have lovely little daisies. We have some broom for those. I have a daffodil here, some butterflies. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Here's a rock rose. That is one of my favourite images in these books. I do love it. So pretty. Here's another wild rose, I think. No, that's the rock rose and that's the dog rose. Not 100% sure on that. Okay, so there we have all those little fussy cuts. And I've also taken these pieces here. Sometimes I may have cut all around the quote itself, and I will use those on pockets and things like that as embellishments. Sometimes I have kept the month on top. May or may not use that when it comes to it, but I have left it there to give myself the option. I've also kept the months. They will always be useful. There's another quote. And I have also kept, if you see down here, this one says chaffinches, but on all the plants it gives the name of the plant. Like this one is passiflora, but it gives the Latin name as well. So I keep all of those, and they look absolutely beautiful as embellishment pieces also. So that is where I got all of those little fussy cuts from. They all came from, and that's only just from a couple of pages, that bundle that I had there. And they all come from the corner pieces on these books. Okay, so that's that format. I will show you something else that I have done with the leftover piece as well at some point. So that's that one. And then we have these ones. Now these I think were the original format. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me, but I think these were the original format. So we've the nature notes and the country diary, and again they're very similar to those ones that I was showing you, the smaller one and the larger one in the cardboard cover. So very, very similar. There are different images in both of these books. Like I don't think this one appears, I don't think this kingfisher appears in this book. So he appears in the country diary. I don't think he appears in the nature notes. I could be wrong about that. I should really go and check that. So that is those two. Again, they're very similar. They're just hardback bound. Okay, and there are different, if you see one with a different title, it does have different images in it. Okay, so just to let you know that. That is those ones. Oh, almost fell over there. We're having a cascade. And there's the nature notes. I showed you the garden notes. This is the nature notes version of that one. You can see the daffodils here. I had one of those cut out, and I have taken some of the pages out. I was using them to take the fussy cuts out. Okay, so that is that. Now on to what we are doing today. So I have been showing you a few of the ways that I would take apart the books and look at how to use the books and things like that. Now I also have here a pile of cut-offs. These are just the cream paper cut-offs from around the edges and things like that. That is not supposed to be over there. And I would use these as hinges. This particular piece actually I would use that as a hinge. It is quite sturdy paper and it would make a great hinge for a piece. But the most common way that I would use them is just to print some words on them and cut them out. Beautiful heavy cream paper to be doing that. Ink them up and Bob's your uncle. Absolutely lovely little embellishments. Okay, so that's those. Now over here, this is the image that I was talking about a little earlier, and this is one of my favorite images in the book, in the books I should say. And on this one I have used a technique called spotlighting, and what spotlighting does, it takes one piece or part of an image or a page and it highlights that one piece. There are several ways to do it. In this instance I have chosen to use glossy accents on the nest and the egg, and it just makes more of a feature out of the actual page itself rather than just having the page in there. It's beautiful as it is, but it just makes a little more of a feature out of it, and I think it looks absolutely amazing as well, and it feels really good. Going to show you another way to get that effect later. On the inside of this page we have a pocket. This is from one of the smaller books. I just fussy cut around the top of these flowers, folded the edges into my pocket, did a little tiny bit of embellishing with stamps and a label, and I have put it onto this lace piece. Now this hasn't been tea dyed yet, it will be tea dyed, and it's just a nice size to fit one of those record cards. So I've put a piece of lace down on my page over the diary part of the page, put a little piece of lace down, glued my pocket to it, but I've also left this open as a belly band. So we're getting the beautiful decoration around here. We're taking away a piece that is fine to leave and it would work great in a journal, but sometimes we don't always want to leave those pieces. So that's one way to use up those particular pages. Now there is a little birdie here that I was thinking I might want to put on here. I still haven't decided yet about that, so we're going to leave it. So on the other side of this, I would most likely put down some sort of a journaling spot, or possibly I would collage over it. I haven't got a journal started yet, so I don't have collage fodder or anything to hand to do that straight away, but it is ready to go into a journal, and I will decide what to do with this side of it when it comes to that. Again, on this side I will have this beautiful image here, and just to do something with the center, or leave it if I decide to do that. Okay, but on this side I did a couple of little different bits and pieces just to show you guys how you can, you know, excuse me, decorate up a page a little bit, because the images are so beautiful and we don't want to cover them up. There are still things you can do with them. Okay, so that is that one. And over here I have a couple of envelopes that I have made. So here is one that I loved the image on it. There was the writing on top, it had the image on the bottom, and just writing from the top all the way down. So what I've done was I used the image as the front flap of my envelope. I also, this is one of the fussy cuts that I took from the corner of the page. It's actually two of them, and I just popped those in the corner to add a little bit of colour to the piece, and I used a cluster of labels down here. Okay, now as you can see I have cut it to that shape, and it is one of these pages that I have used. No, it's not. It's out of one of these books, my apologies. So it's one of these pages and it had an image down here. So I have cut to the rounded corner there, and it makes a very pretty shape on my envelope. Okay, so that is that. On the back of it, it just had the writing, so I just put a pocket down. It's a Tim Holtz vellum pocket. And on the inside, again, this piece just had the writing on it. I put a little piece of napkin here. I put down a label and another label here. I have gessoed the inside of this just to push that writing into the background. And I've used a tiny piece of napkin up here as well, just to add some colour. So there's another way to use one of those pages with a lot of that kind of regular text on them. And I think that came out very, very pretty. So that's one envelope. Here is another envelope that had a lot of writing on it, and I have just used a napkin to cover over all of the writing. As you can see, you can still see the writing coming through. I didn't want to cover it completely. I did want to be able to see some of it. So I used napkin to do that. I have given it a wax seal closure. I've used one of our little notes here, and I have just backed it with some cheesecloth to give some texture. On the back I've done another vellum pocket. I have embossed that pocket and used one of our fussy cuts again from the Edith Holden books to decorate it, and it has a journal card inside. Now this isn't a true envelope in that when I open it, there's a page with poetry on it in that nice writing. So I didn't want to cover that up, so I thought I would leave it just as an insert to be opened and the poetry read. I've just put some fold around the edges, and I think that came out quite sweet. I may also put some lace down here or something down along here as well. Okay, so from the outside, that doesn't look very Edith Holden-y. There are Edith Holden elements, but it's not... I mean, this is easily identifiable as Edith Holden. This one is not immediately, but and that's sometimes a good thing, is what I'm trying to say, that you can have and use the Edith Holden pages, but it doesn't have to look the same all the time. Okay, so using napkins like this as decoupage over the writing and things like that can give you a very different look, but still work really, really well with Edith Holden pieces. Okay. So I think that may be all of the pieces that I have fully decorated up. But I do have one or two other little pieces here to show you guys. So here again are two more of those pages with the writing on the inside and those corner pieces. So I thought these would make fabulous envelopes as well. And these are the slightly bigger pages. As you can see, they're different sizes. These are the bigger pages, so we get a longer envelope. But I think with the two little corner pieces here, and when you open the flap, you have your two little corner pieces here as well. So I think they make absolutely beautiful envelopes. And obviously they can be decorated up a bit more. And it's nice to just have the lines here. That gives you a lot of scope for decorating the back of the envelope as well. So that is that one. Here's one that has birds on it, which I loved as an envelope. I think this one looks absolutely beautiful. So there we have that. And on the back, again, those lines aren't too in your face, very easily decorated. Okay, so that's the envelopes. Then I have taken, again, one of those pages. I worked a lot with these pages because I wanted to show you different ways to use these particular pages. I think these books are quite common, so I wanted to give you a couple of ways to use these. So I've taken another one of those pages. As you can see, I have cut out the shape. I obviously fussy cut the pieces and had this left over. So I've cut out the shape, I've cut down where I wanted the size to be, and I've just folded it over and matched the shape on the other side, and that will make a really, really nice tag in a journal. So that's that one. Let me see what else I have here. Again, I have more of those pages where I have just left. That would make a nice top tuck. It could actually make a side tuck as well. I think that would be lovely as a side tuck. Same with any of these, that would make a great side tuck. Or even a belly band if your journal was that large. Same thing again. Beautiful daffodils, and there are my wild roses, absolutely beautiful. I really love that image. So that's those ones. And let me see what other treasures I have. So here we have another just random piece of those pages. I have made it into a tag shape, ready to be collaged on and made into a tag. Beautiful heavy paper for that. This piece was the poppy page, and it was on those pages as well. It was like one of these pages, see? But the way the image worked along the bottom, I thought that would make an absolutely stunning belly band. So I just kept those pieces together rather than fussy cutting those. That'll make a great belly band. Here I used the bottom part of this. I can't remember what was on the bottom of it, but I used the bottom part of it for something. But I think if I take off the top of that there, that will make a lovely little pocket. I just need to add a few more bits to it, maybe add a bird as well. So that'll make a lovely pocket in a journal. Or actually looking at the back of it, it might make a great journaling card just as it is. So there's that, options with that. Okay, here again is another page that I thought, is that the same image? I just realised that now. Let me see. I have to go and check now. It is. So this is the actual image that I used for this pocket. And I just cut around the top of the shape and made it into a pretty little pocket. And that was why I had pulled out this page, was to suggest to you that that was something you could do with it. But I had already done it. I'm way ahead of myself. So yeah, and on this one you also have these pieces of poetry here. You could snippet out each one of those on its own and use them as little embellishments on tags, journal cards, pockets, flips, flaps and folds, all that sort of thing. So don't discount the writing on these books at all. It is beautiful. And I do love the numbers as well. Okay, so that's that one. Wonder would that make a nice envy. Now it gets cut off. See, and here's how I play with them. It gets cut off there. Now you could fold it in half and have it as a flip. Just like that, and have it flip up. Yeah. So I'm going to put that aside and see what we come up with for that one. Again, here is another one that would make a great pocket piece. Just in and of itself, or an insert into, you know, those CD envelopes. That would probably sit really, really well inside one of those. I think that would be awesome in there. On the back of it, you'd probably lose the butterfly, but it's not a very well defined image anyway. So yeah, you get great use out of that image. So I have these two pieces here. These were just offcuts that I had used previously. And again, I think that's actually the same image that we were speaking about a minute ago. I would use that as a pocket piece, possibly even leave the march on there, and just decorate it up another little bit. Very pretty. And don't you just love these little bees? They're so precious. And I'm hoarding this piece. I want to use it in a bee journal at some point. So yeah, I'm hoarding that. And I do have one or two of those images, so I don't know why I'm hoarding it so much. Okay, so here I have another double page spread that I want to use in a journal as pretty much as it is. I will alter obviously the text and things like that, but the way I showed you the nest image earlier with the glossy accents, absolutely beautiful. Now I know not everybody has or uses glossy accents, and it can actually be difficult enough to work with depending on your climate as well. I mean, this has actually cracked just here. I don't mind it so much. It's only a small one, but it might bother you if you're in the wrong climate and things like that. So I want to show you another way to get that effect. Again, that is called spotlighting. It is not the only way to do it. You could also get some sort of a circle. This might work really well or really badly. So I'm just going to use this little circle. I'm not actually going to do this, but just you could get this little circle and draw around it, and that spotlights that piece. White out the rest of it with gesso, push the rest of it into the background with gesso, and just leave that one piece with full colour. That's kind of the idea, that you're highlighting one piece in some way. Alright, so I'm going to show you another way to get that effect that I got with the other one. So I've taken a piece of vellum. This is patterned vellum that I don't particularly like and probably will never use. Stars on it. It's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, it's just not something that I can see myself using. And I traced my image onto the vellum and I just cut out the image. So I'm just going to put this down here and I'm going to tape it into place. Where is my tape? I'll get this down here. Oops. Here we go. I'm thoroughly enjoying the collaboration, as always. I mean, Rachel always puts together a great collaboration anyway. But some amazing crafters joined us this time around. Well, we've always had amazing crafters. Who am I kidding? We have. There has always been amazing crafters for these collaborations. So yeah, really enjoying it. Rachel was also talking about women's eye health, and I should actually mention that because I myself have an eye condition. It's Fuchs. Oh, now I can't think of it. Irido something. It's heterochromic something or other. It's a Fuchs, not dystrophy. It's a Fuchs condition. But it means that my eyes are two different colours because some of the cells are leaching out, and my eyesight in that one particular eye is really bad, with the possibility that I will lose it altogether at some point, or I could get a ruptured cornea, all that kind of thing. So yeah, I really did want to mention the women's eye health thing, and she's trying to raise funds for her charity that she works for. She works for Site Kimru, I think it's pronounced. She's going to laugh at me now trying to pronounce that. But yeah, so there's a raffle going on. The journal that Rachel is making throughout this collaboration month will be raffled off. So all you need to do, you need to go and give a donation. If you go to RachandBella's YouTube channel, which will be linked below, you will find the details for the raffle and how to make a donation and enter the raffle for that. Okay, so we have our piece taped down. I'm going to take some Versamark ink and I'm just going to give it a swipe, trying to not lift the pieces of my stencil on the corners and things like that. Just trying to get ink into all those places. Okay, and we can lift this up. Okay, that is that. Now I'm going to go and get some clear embossing powder on this. I will get two or three coats, maybe even 4 coats on this, and I will come back and show you guys how that looks. Okay. Okay, you guys, so I have gone off and I have given this a few coats of clear embossing powder. Can you see that? I'm sure you can. I'm sure it's showing up. And it really does kind of make it makes the page more of an embellishment in the journal as opposed to just being a book page in the journal. Okay, so it just adds a little something to it. Now it does come through like this. I think that's actually the Versamark that does this. I'm not sure if that will dry later on, but even if it doesn't, that actually doesn't particularly bother me. This is something that I would possibly cover over anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that. So okay, that is that. Now there was one other thing that I wanted to show you with those full page images. Now I don't have, do I? I don't have quite a terribly nice image pulled out for this, but I mean this is a nice image, there's nothing wrong with it. This wouldn't be kind of one of the ones that I would do this with, maybe. No reason not to. Anyway, so we get a full page image and we don't want to cut it up and we don't want to put it in just as a page. We want to do something with it. So what you can do is take a sheet of vellum, cut it slightly shorter than the top of your page, sew or glue it. Sewing looks great on these pages as well, by the way. Sew or glue it around the edges and make a little vellum pocket pouch. So that would be a great way as well to use the full page images, still get to see the image, but have it as a useful piece in your journal just by using a sheet of vellum. Or this isn't quite vellum, it's just a see-through kind of paper. So anything like that will work. Okay, so that is that. And last but not least, I think this is the last piece I have for you guys anyway. We have this kind of page. Now I've chosen this page quite particularly for this because this is the type of page that I would use to make tags with. It's got almost a full page of imagery. You'll get a little bit of everything. No matter where you cut on the page, you're going to get a little bit of everything. So I thought this was the perfect page to use to make tags. So I'm going to use my craft knife, if I can find it. There we go. And my ruler. And I'm going to cut it in half this way. Okay, let's get this situated here. Doesn't have to be perfect, of course, unless you're putting them together in some way, shape or form. Like that. Now, you could also do this blind, like you do with a masterboard. Oh, look, I'm glad I didn't look at that now, because I would have been all hung up on whether to use that page or not. I'm sure I had already looked at it and decided to use it anyway, so, you know. But yeah, what I was saying was you could always turn it backwards to yourself and do it blind. But I don't feel a need to do that right now. Now I'm going to cut this into thirds and we're going to make 3 small tags out of each side. And let's see how they turn out. And I'm not being terribly precise with it. It is what it is. So, like these images, this is one of the ones that I would hesitate quite a bit to cut up because it's so pretty. But I wanted to do this exercise on camera for you guys so you can see that you get some very, very pretty pieces to use as carry or tag bases. So even by cutting it up, you're not losing the prettiness, you're just dividing it and spreading it around. There we go, that's another one piece. That's absolutely gorgeous. That's almost very central, so you know, that looks awesome on there. And then we have this piece as well. That will make a lovely base for a decorated tag. Just going to take off that raw edge there. Just didn't look quite right to me. And I'm going to do the same with the top part of the page. There we go. Et voila. Those two are beautiful as well. That's lovely. Absolutely gorgeous. This one is a little plain. That's okay, it can be decorated up. I love this one with the bee. Okay, so we have 6 pieces that we can make into tags. Let me I'm going to get the corners of these cut, and I'm going to do it just by eye, like so. And like so. Et voila, we have tags. Now we could actually use the back of that. You have a choice there whether you want to use the back or the front. You could just leave it as it is and have the back and the front. Some lovely writing on the back of that one. Beautiful daisy. That is quite plain, but it does have a starting point for a pretty decorated tag. That actually doesn't look bad as a tag like that either, but that side is very pretty. Again, you could actually leave this as the back of your tag because there is writing space here. And there's the front, needs a little something down in this corner. And the one with RB. Okay, so that is those. So, as you can see, cutting up those pretty pages is always going to be worth it. You're always going to get pretty pieces out of it. I mean, they're just beautiful tags in and of themselves. Let's get them inked up and see what they look like. Okay, so I've also gone ahead and put eyelets in these two tags because I'm not going to be backing these with anything. I may decorate them a little, but I won't actually back them with anything. So they will stay like that. I actually put the eyelet on the wrong side of this one. It doesn't really matter because I couldn't decide which side I wanted to be the front anyway, because they're both so pretty. I will do very little to this. I think I'll put something down here. But other than that, very little needs to be done to it. I do want to put something down on the edge of this and maybe a focal point. There's no real focal point there. And I'm going to leave the back as is because it can be written on like that. Okay. And these guys, these will be backed at some point. And maybe some lace or something added to them. I particularly like this daisy one. So let's get this backed onto something. Let me see. Okay, so we have this backed. Still writable on, but the writing that's there is still visible. Now I did just spread all of the glue right to the edges, simply because this is very light paper, and if I had tried to put the glue on that, even glue stick, it would have just wrinkled up into nothing. So I just put the glue all the way to the edges, and that way my piece gets stuck down and it's uniform all the ways around, so it doesn't look like there's some mistake there, you know. So that's that part. Now let's see, do I want anything on here? I'm not even sure I want to put anything on this. It's just really pretty as it is. Let's see if any of these fussy cuts would work. What about a butterfly? Butterflies. Oh, that might look pretty. There or there. I quite like it up there. I like that. I'm wondering, should I glossy accent him or do him with the clear embossing powder, make him pop? I think that would be awesome. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go off and get him gussied up with some embossing powder, and I will be back to you guys. Okay, so I have our butterfly all done up, and I've also made him into a little 3D element. Now I'm going to show you exactly how I did that. I'm going to do another one and show you guys. So he stands off the page like so. Isn't that pretty? So while it is a simple tag, that gives it a little bit of extra oomph and pizzazz on the page, you know. And it does lie flat when the pages are closed, so it doesn't really add a whole lot of bulk. So, you know, really, really cute idea. I just had a little brainwave when I was doing the embossing on that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. There is another butterfly here. I have it already done with the embossing powder, and this is actually just one coat and it came up lovely, so one was enough. Now I'm just taking those strips of paper that we had left over on the edges and things like that that I said I would use for stamping, and just taking one of those. I have cut it down to be, oh, I suppose it's about, what, 1/4 of an inch? And maybe 1.5 inches long, like so. And I'm just going to accordion fold this. Now, for those of you who don't know what an accordion fold is, that would be no good. So I'm going to bring it up and show you guys. So I'm folding it back that way. This back here, And then I'm going to fold the other way so it looks like a Z, or that would be a Z fold. Can you see that with the light? And I'm just going to keep going over and back with that, like so. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 of those. So I'm going to take our butterfly, turn him over on his back. Okay, so then we get our glue on the ends of our little springy bits and also down the butterfly body. Now I'm just going to take it off that tag for a second. So we're going to get it down the butterfly body, just central, and up onto his antennae. If you have antennae, I kept his antennae. A lot of people actually cut them off, and that's fine too. Whatever you're comfortable with. So I'm just going to smear out that glue a little bit. Now you don't want to get the glue on the underside of these little folds. You don't want them sticking together. So we'll pick it up, try and close our little springs. I'm just pinching them down like that. And I'm going to try and position my butterfly where I want it. Like there, I think is perfect. Just going to hold that down for a second. Et voila, we have a little 3D butterfly guy. Isn't that awesome? So when he goes into the journal, his wings will go down when it's flat, and when you open the page, they'll spring up. So yeah, I think they're really cute. I'm going to fold these guys back a little bit more like the other one. So you can have it more or less 3D as well. It's entirely up to yourself, depending on how many folds you put in the thing as well, I think. So yeah, I think they're awesome. They look like they're about ready to fly away. So there we have 2 very cute little simple but not simple tags, all from Edith Holden book pages. We haven't used anything else apart from this piece. I'm leaving this as it is because I think it's really pretty. You could write something down here if you wanted to. Okay, so that's those guys, and I think that is it from me for today. I really hope you found something helpful in this video, and that you will find some inspiration in here also. I hope that if you have Edith Holden books that you are hoarding, that you will get them out and start using them. That you know, you won't be afraid to cut the pages. You will have seen that even when you cut the pages, you're still left with something really, really pretty and really Edith Holden-y. So yeah, that is that. So for the competition for Rachel's journal, guys, don't forget to go and check out the fundraiser for that. Make a little donation. It's entirely up to you how much you donate to this very worthy cause. A little or a lot, every little helps, you know. So if you want to be in the running for the journal, make sure you go and do that. Linked below, I will have all of the channels that are taking part in the collaboration, as always. I will also link the playlist for the collaboration over on RachandBella's YouTube channel, where you will also be able to find that video for the competition. Okay? I think that is it. I think that's all the housekeeping that I need to do. I don't think there's anything else I really need to tell you guys, except that you don't want to miss any of these videos. They are going to be all awesome. They have all been awesome so far. I'm really, really enjoying. And of course, botanical is one of everybody's favourite themes, isn't it? It's always pretty and always enjoyable. Okay, I hope you have a fantastic day, guys, and I will talk to you all very, very soon. Bye.